Thanks, Mike, for letting me do this. I'm John Melia, and I'm from Houston, Texas. Not originally. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and been living in Texas since 2012. I work in sales today, but in a previous life, I was a Marine infantryman. I served with 1st Battalion, 1st Marines, and 1st Recon Battalion, light armored. I deployed with the Marines to the Middle East and also to Somalia. I'm unfortunately the survivor of a Marine Corps helicopter crash that killed 4 of my fellow Marines, and I was badly injured. And in 1995, I ended up being retired as a result of my injuries from the Marine Corps. Spent my early career after the Marine Corps working with military veterans. I've spent my essentially entire adult life either in the military or working with vets. And in 2003, I started an organization in the United States called the Wounded Warrior Project, which became one of the largest veterans nonprofits in the history of this country, and helped thousands of wounded service members and their families recover from grave injuries. And then left there in 2010, 2011 time period, and started my own company. Got into the oil and gas business in Texas. And for the last 4 years, I've been out in the Permian Basin of Texas and the Delaware Basin in New Mexico, where a lot of the major drilling operations are going on in the U.S. for oil and gas. A terrible condition when I met Mike, and we were coming off COVID, and a lot of people decided that they were going to get physically fit during COVID. I did the exact opposite. I was actually kind of in a fitness mindset and routine going into COVID, but COVID really sent me for a loop. And believe it or not, I gained about 30 pounds during COVID in the first 16, 17 months of COVID. And I had gotten my weight down almost 30 pounds. And during that period of COVID, I put it all back on. I just really didn't care about the food that I put in my body. I wasn't moving. And I made several attempts to try to get back on track, and I just couldn't. There always seemed to be some type of a roadblock. Found out later it was much more of a mindset roadblock, but there always seemed to be some type of a roadblock. So I was very heavy. I got to almost 260 pounds. I wasn't breathing well. I wasn't sleeping well. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I was taking more medication than I had ever taken before. I was down and depressed. Just had gotten into a bit of a funk, and of course was working away from home. So nobody was watching me get takeout chicken and burgers every other night. So, and eating a tub of ice cream, it just really didn't kind of matter. So it's a bit of self-abuse, and I don't drink or do drugs or anything like that, but I think I was using food as a drug, so to kind of get through the tough time. I think going into the Tough Love Intensive program, I thought that the difficulty was going to be sticking to the diet. I was obviously a military veteran, Marine Corps veteran, wasn't very afraid of the exercise component, but I was, a bit worried whether or not I'd be able to, kind of stay on track for 85 days. I haven't done much for 85 days other than brush my teeth in a row. So, trying to stay on track and with a program was something that I had some trepidation about. But I found that Mike gave me the tools that I needed to make it a bit dummy proof, and that made a big difference. The only thing that we really kind of butted heads a little bit about was the diet, but that only lasted for about 3 or 4 days, and I knew that I needed to get with the program or it was going to be difficult, and kind of got with the program. And so I think that was the most difficult part. Now, all of it was challenging. When you get to the age that I'm at, I'm 56, you're not accountable to many people in this world. It's so having to be accountable to another adult for food and exercise and sleep and mindset, and that was a challenge, but it was something that I ended up enjoying. Mike has a great demeanor and has a way, and he was so consistent. That made a really big difference. I knew that I was going to have a message in the morning, and I knew I was going to have a message in the evening, and I was going to have to respond to some questions that he had for me, and that I was going to have to be accountable. So some days I dreaded that. Other days, I was excited to report my results. But the program, was challenging, but extremely doable, and suffice it to say, in the end, looking back at it, quite enjoyable. So now that I'm at the end of the 12 weeks, looking back, I'm very, very happy with the results. As a matter of fact, I'm ecstatic, and I'm going to do another 12 weeks with Mike. I'm actually, the reason that I did this was, first of all, I was a physical train wreck, but secondly, I needed to get ready for a knee replacement surgery that I'm actually going to have in a week from today. And I knew that if I wanted the best chance at a successful outcome with the surgery, that I needed to get off my butt and to get into shape and to prepare myself physically and mentally for the challenges ahead. This knee replacement should give me the opportunity to move some more, even though I was able to move quite a bit during the 12-week program. There were some limitations, and I think that those may have affected my results a little bit because I just couldn't move as much as I would have liked to, from an effort standpoint. And I'm not saying that to say that I didn't put in the effort, but I probably could have put a lot more effort in if I wasn't so limited in the things that I could do. From a weight loss standpoint, I've lost about 15 pounds, which going into it, if I said after 85 days, I lost 15 pounds, I don't know that I would have been excited about that. But the fact of the matter is, I've lost inches all over my body. I'm much more toned. I'm in much better shape physically, and I've put some muscle on. It's very apparent that I've put muscle on, not just in my appearance, but in how I carry myself, how my clothes fit, those type of things. So you can't look at this program as a weight loss program. It's so much more than that. Mike always talks about food, movement, sleep, and mindset. And I kind of, when he first talked about sleep and mindset, I thought that was going to kind of be an afterthought for me. And it ended up being the most important part of the program. Mike showed me how to hack my sleep and to get better sleep, and be more successful in that area. And that really translated into my mindset, and into a better mindset that allowed me to do the exercise and allowed me to stay on program when it came to my food. I'm excited about the program, and I would advise that any guy that was kind of in my condition, where they were really sick and tired of being sick and tired, that they take a look at Tough Love Intensive. I was truly sick and tired of being sick and tired, and Mike and Lynn came around at a time where I really needed them. And one more thing that was really unique was I was ready to go, from the first day Mike told me about his program. And he essentially said, "Hey, whoa, slow down, cowboy." And, he interviewed me for this program as much as kind of I interviewed him, actually more than I interviewed him. He wanted to make sure that I was a good candidate and that my mind was right to do this, because it is a commitment, and your mind needs to be right to get the most out of the program. And so I really appreciated that. I appreciated that he didn't just jump on and say, "Okay, you're in the program." He really wanted to see if I was committed. So that made a lasting impression on me.